What's good, everybody? Welcome in. Oh no. What's good, everybody? Welcome into another episode of the Power 2 podcast presented by Get Defensive Sports Network. As always, I'm your host, Jordan. I'm here with my co host, DJ.
Hey.
Learning new software. It's weird. So, like, when you press start, it's just supposed to start. And then on my end, a thing always comes up where it's like, leave studio. And it's like, why would I leave the studio if I
Just
just hit
started.
record?
It's fine.
Where am I going?
The technology is using AI. It's not very smart.
Yeah, but it's done it every time, and I'm like, and that's why someone was like a second delayed. So I have to like click out of it, and I'm like, what is going on? Why
What
is
is
this up?
happening?
I just hit record. I'm not leaving the studio. I'm in the studio.
We're here right now,
Get in the
currently.
booth. Do you rap or do you tweet?
I can't tell. I can't tell. I can't tell. It's one of the best things Lotto has ever said.
Absolutely.
Apparently,
Okay,
she's making some announcement soon. I don't know about what, but she is making an announcement soon. If you're a Lotto fan,
maybe it's a tour. Dochi just made an announcement about a tour, and
if she,
now I have to spend money.
well,
My
somebody's
shorty missed
watching you.
her the
It's your
first
anxiety.
time. Yeah, shorty missed her the first time and is not planning on missing her this time. So good for me. I mean, I do like Doechii. It's not necessarily an issue, but
I need to get into her. I'm really bad about like listening to artists that are not just like the artists I always listen to. Like I'm really bad about let me listen to someone new. And then like I'll hear something or hear, especially on TikTok. Likely than not, I'll hear their music on TikTok and be like, wow, I enjoy this, and still just listen to the same five people. So
yeah, because I bet you haven't listened to the album I told you to listen to.
anyways, welcome to Get Defensive Sports Network's Power 2 podcast,
Mm-hmm.
ladies and gentlemen.
Where we don't talk about the power of friendship. We talk about the power of
Talk about the
not
power of not listening to album recommendation.
crazy. The disrespect.
In my defense,
Nope.
I actually listen to a lot less music and podcasts in general
Nope.
because I
It's
don't
been
have as
weeks.
shut up because I don't have as long of a commute. I live so close to my job now, like I don't really have like that's when I would have listened to an album or to a longer podcast or things like that. I don't have that type of time. So and then I don't listen to music and stuff like while I be working because I be getting interrupted too much. So when would I have had
Excuses.
time? When would I have had
Excuses.
time?
Excuses.
Anyways, I don't make
What are
excuses.
what are excuses, DJ?
I'm not doing this with you
Mm-hmm.
today.
Anyways, you know what we are doing?
This.
We're talking about the SEC.
We are.
We are previewing the SEC in our third installment of preview
Our
season.
preview series.
Mm. But before that, there's news.
Um,
Sort of kind of news. Maybe
maybe.
maybe maybe
Maybe
sort
this
of, you know.
it's a topic of discussion. So basically what is going on is there is still lots and lots of movement and things going on in the WNBA. So if you guys are unaware, it has already been sort of known that the Connecticut Sun franchise was up for sale. It is owned by a native tribe. I don't want to start lying and saying which tribe it is, but it's one of the only professional sports teams that have native tribal ownership, and they are ready to sell their majority stakes. And so basically, it came out recently that the minority owner in the Boston Celtics, one of the minority owners, is willing to make a $325 million offer to the Connecticut Sun ownership for the purchase of the team, which would be the highest ever team purchase in the WNBA history. And they are also promising $100 million to dedicate to a practice facility, but that also means that the franchise will be moving to Boston if that is all said and done. The WNBA, of course, has made it known, that's cute and everything, but individual teams do not get to choose when or where they move. That is actually up to the WNBA's board of governors, and they over here like, listen, y'all got to get in line. You know how many cities want a WNBA team?
A
You got to
lot.
get in line. So right now, there's nothing that's confirmed, but it is known that Boston Celtics minority ownership, they're trying to get in there. They're trying to get where the dollars and cents are, and that is with the WNBA.
Yes. $325 million would be the most that a team has ever sold for. It is also the most just in general because so I thought the expansion fee was 300 million. I keep
No,
seeing
it's
250
250.
now.
Yeah, it's 250.
So the first report was wrong.
I
I
don't know
know I
where
saw
it was
300.
reported. Yeah, I'm like they got well, and it may have been reported that they had accumulated 300 million in expansion fees prior to learning about the three cities because Valkyries was 50 million, and then right after the Valkyries, it went up to 250. So there was a point where I think the
No, it didn't
top
go
that
right up to 250 because Toronto didn't pay
did they pay
250.
They didn't pay 250?
No, it like
Well, then I
expansion
don't know.
fees go up each round.
Well, I don't know because it's been I knew that it was 250 for
Maybe I'm wrong.
the
Maybe I
Valkyries. I mean, it's
misunderstood. I
still
don't know.
almost $1 billion in expansion fees.
Yeah, but like either way, whether it's
Yeah,
250 or 300, 325 comes in over that. So
yeah,
it would be the most expensive price in general of any sort for a WNBA
WNBA.
team.
Yeah,
But as you are saying, which for man, I hate agreeing with sports leagues, but this is it's legitimately one of the first things that I thought about, and it was like there are other cities though.
yeah.
Like I mean, I get it technically. If you buy it, you can do whatever you want. Maybe I mean not really because like you said, the board of governors has to approve it. But it was just like, are they gonna let them go to Boston when like Houston and all these other things? And then it comes out that Boston didn't even submit a bid,
There is
and
no group
that
currently for bidding for Boston.
and so like that makes it even more interesting. Where it's just like that's a way to like cheat the process. But when you if you and I think the interesting thing though is now that the numbers out, right? So since the numbers out, can the W be like, we don't like this, and go to Tillman Fertitta in Houston, or go to any of the other groups and cities that they wanted and be like, can you match or exceed? And if you will, we'll approve it to you. Because ultimately, I don't think the ownership of the Suns cares who gives them the money. So I mean, I don't know that that's going to happen. I don't know how much exact power the board of governors has, but seeing that they have to approve the deal, I could definitely, I do wonder if there's going to be some like, you see the numbers 325, and if they start getting some calls from some other people, like, yeah, Tennessee. They want the summit team. If Tennessee's like, we got 325. If Houston is
Mhm.
like, who the W named specifically as a team that they were looking at, we got 325. So, like, I do wonder sort of what comes with that. I don't think Boston is awful. They are getting a soccer team. They obviously have the Celtics, whatever. Like, it's just kind of awkward in that you would be jumping the line, especially because, again, you didn't even put in a bid. Like, why didn't you put in a bid? You know what I'm saying? Like, if you
Well, and
wanted a team.
this has been a conversation though for some time. Like the Connecticut Sun has been on sale for a while, and that had kind of been the rumblings was that it would potentially be moved to Boston because of the strong appetite that Boston seems to have for women's basketball specifically. So that was always kind of like a rumor or like a murmuring that like if the Connecticut Sun were to sell, it would probably be moved to Boston at that point. So I think it's like now that there's somebody who's coming in and actually saying like, okay, I want to buy the team and move it to Boston. Now they're like, well, hold on, wait, because
Yeah, but I mean,
yeah,
rumors are rumors. I heard those too, but I think I think it's interesting though because like yes, while there's been rumors about the Suns and things like that, the expansion process has been going on much longer than
yeah, the
that.
expansion
And so
process
for
has been what
Boston
it
to
is.
have
Yeah.
never submitted a bid, but then to call the Suns, I just think it's interesting.
I
Like you
think
would
that was
think you would
probably
do
their
both.
way. I think that was probably the point.
Yeah. Well, it may not work for him. It may work for him. You never know. But like,
I think they're
it
trying
may
to
not
use
work for
that
them.
leverage of being associated with the Celtics to their
Houston got a
advantage.
team.
I
I mean,
know.
literally, like the Tillman Fertitta owns everything in Houston. He owns the
Yeah, yeah.
Rockets, and he damn near owns the Houston Cougars. Like he's their biggest donor. So like, he like NBA ownership not enough. Like because Houston has the NBA ownership. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I mean, I don't care either way. As long as whoever has the team is actually doing the work and doing the facilities and all the things which clearly the ownership of the Suns did not want to do.
Facilities for me, the Sun, but it is the facility for me. It's
Yeah.
like we cannot be expanding teams without no facilities. I want to hear it. I don't want to know about it. I don't want to. I don't care. We need a
Yep.
facility. Period. The end. Thank you
And
so much.
and Boston committed to spending $100 million on a facility,
They did.
but that's also I don't want to go too deep into
Yeah.
this, but
That's how much the Phoenix one cost.
I've been following a lot with the Boston soccer team, and they've been having major issues getting approved, and like they also had major issues with even their rollout, but there was a lot of beef with like location, and they were, because they don't have a whole lot of space, they were trying to do this like public private sponsorship thing where like the stadium, like they would spend, like
The
they would,
city would pay for the stadium and all of
well,
that.
not
Yeah.
even that, the city, yes, but like they want to do it, they want to take a park, like a public park, and put it there, so then they're like, it's like the city would still own it, and but then like the local teams could use it as well, but then all the residents are like, this is a park and you're gonna put this in our neighborhood. Like Boston's like a big city in a way, but it's not like an expansive city. It's like a big city. I mean, it's not as bad as New York, but it's like a big city, and like New York is a big city where there's not a lot of space, and so there's just been a whole lot of stuff. So like I'm also kind of interested in like, where are you putting the
Where would it be
facility? Like, are you
situated?
also
Yeah.
gonna have the same issue? But maybe not, because it's the Celtics, and the Celtics can probably do whatever they want to now that they've won a ring. But there was just a lot of pushback on like building uh for the soccer team, just because they're like, where are you putting this? There's
Where is
no
this going?
space. Like we don't want you in our neighborhood. Like we don't want that sort of traffic. Like we want the team, but like not here. So that is another kind of interesting thing with Boston, where like Houston is Texas. It's Texas. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah. I mean,
they can
Dallas,
find some
we have the
space.
same problem. That's why all our teams play in Arlington because
Yeah.
there's land in Arlington. There's not really a lot of land in Dallas to play with. Like even with the Dallas Wings, like when the Dallas Wings move to the new facility, they're moving to a facility that already exists. It's just getting repurposed for basketball. It's the K. Bailey Hutchinson Center. It used to be like an event center. So they're going to repurpose it for basketball because they can't play in American because American already has the Stars and the Mavericks. So it's like, and even with the Mavericks wanting to move locations from American, there's all this conversation about like where are they going to go? There is no space. There is no space in Dallas proper. Plus, also Dallas proper don't want to pay for it. That's why Arlington has all the teams because Arlington is willing to put the money up and say we're going to eat the cost of this, so that way we can have the economic benefits of the stuff being in Arlington. So the Wings are there, the Cowboys are there, and the Rangers are there, and the Cowboys and the Rangers have brand new facilities there.
Yep.
So you
Cowboys just
know.
spent a lot of money, so who knows?
We shall see. It'll be interesting. That's
Yeah.
for sure. I do. Oh gosh, I don't want to get into this, but I do feel like we are gonna have to have the conversation very, very soon about the WNBA expanding entirely too quickly. But hey, who knows?
Okay. I don't agree with that. I
I
think they're
agree.
not
I
doing it.
think it is.
I think it's going too slow, honestly.
But here's the thing: we're about to have an expansion draft every year for the next 4 or 5 years. That in and of itself is going to cause like so much just like movement of players. And first of all, it's already going to be frenzied next year because most of everybody except for like two people are free agents. So that's already going to be a mess. Then as soon as everybody gets settled, then we have an expansion draft. Then everybody gets settled, then we have another expansion draft. Then we have another expansion draft. Like
I mean, this is just how it goes. That's how it went
that's a
in men's
lot.
and women's soccer, who have both been expanding before. My biggest issue, it's not even that they're, and that's what the reason why I say they're doing it too slow, is they're just spreading it out too much.
Mm,
Like for example, like, and except for Philly, I think it is, which like has like a legitimate reason for being the last one, because they're already building a new stadium for the 76ers, and that's like the timeline. They're actually supposed to start a year before. Like their stadium is supposed to open in 2030, and
uh-huh.
now they're saying maybe we're going to try to open it in 2029 to be ready for this team. But like there's no reason that Cleveland and Detroit aren't starting at the same time. Like that's like, if you did it where the teams started at the same time.
But then
So like,
that's
let's
two
say like,
expansion drafts in one season.
but it's not. It's just one draft for two teams. You're not doing it.
Well, yeah, not at separate times, but two teams are drafting from 156 from a pool of 156 players at that point.
But that's more stable than, I mean, they're going to do that anyway. That's more stable than doing one in 27, one in 28, one in 29, which is what you're complaining about. I
Yes.
just think the team should like, because next year it's two, right? The
No,
tempo
it's just the
and
tempo. Temp
Toronto doesn't start next year.
that's tempo that's the tempo.
Sorry, Portland Fire. They don't start next year.
No, Portland that's what I'm saying, it's every year for the next 5 years because tempo is gonna go this year, Portland is gonna go the year after that, then it's Philly, Detroit, whichever the order is after that, Cleveland, Detroit, Philly, whatever the order is after that. There's one every year. Am I insane?
I thought Portland and Toronto were starting the same year.
Potentially, hold please. I actually don't know because I'm like,
I
I'm
think
pretty sure Portland. What the heck? Do they have a name? Yes.
Fire just came out. Yeah, yeah, yeah. They're joining at the same time. Toronto and Portland are both joining in 2026.
Okay. My freaking Google over here talking to me about the actual Portland Fire Rescue Team. Hello. All right. Whatever. Either way, I'm not a fan
But
of.
like
Oh
think
yeah, 2026 season.
But yeah, but like think about it, right? So it's still and it's whatever. But you have two in 2026. Cleveland's not until 2028. Detroit's 2029. If you just put Cleveland and Detroit both in 28 or in 29, you get 2 or 3 years of consistency. That's most of the contracts they're signing anyway. The
Mm.
issue for me comes in when you're doing 28, 29, and 30. Like that's dumb.
That to me is too much.
Like you could do 2 and 28, you could do Cleveland, Detroit, and then you could do another one in 30. Well, that doesn't make sense just because Philadelphia makes the even number because you put Golden State by themselves. But
Yeah.
like you could push Philly to 2020, 2030. No, you could keep them if you math. If you move Detroit to 2028, you could keep Philly in 2030 because then it's every other year. And players sign 2, 3 year contracts, whatever.
Anyway, yeah.
And so it's just like that I don't think they're expanding too fast. I just think, as we say all the time, they're doing it poorly, doing it every single year. They just don't care about the players, which we know that,
That's all I'm
which is
saying, and
why
I feel
the
like that could cause an issue, like, down the line because I think a lot of people like, I always think about the fandom too. Like, that could cause issues with, like, "Oh, I'm a fan of this team because my favorite players are on this team," but because they keep getting drafted to all these 40 million different places, you're gonna start to lose, like, brand loyalty,
but
which
also
could be an issue.
it's unfair, but it's not going to be the good players.
And it's not but also with that being said, Golden State is pretty good
Yeah,
considering that notion, right?
but there was
So
a lot of people who were like iffy, and myself included, on their roster. Like you're not
yeah,
like as far as like brand things, like you're not getting Caitlin Clark, you're not getting Angel Reese, you're
yeah.
not getting Fisha Collier, you're not you know what I mean? Like you may
Yeah,
get I don't even
but
know if
they
you're
also
getting
can't
BJ.
core everybody, right? So there's
Yeah,
gonna be
but
some good players that won't get cored.
well, yeah, of course, but like when you're talking about brand loyalty and things, like you're not like I mean Vegas this year cored their main people, and then they traded them and let them go in free agency. But like they didn't take none of the core from Vegas. Like you have your
Yeah,
3 or whatever it is. So I mean, yeah, I think I mean I definitely understand what you're saying. I just think it shouldn't be every year, which we do agree on.
agreed. That's what
But
I'm
I
saying. I'm
don't.
like, with that, that could be
But you do have to do it at this time because you need to get to a number that you can stay at. And like 18, I wanted 20, but 18 is a legitimate number you could stay at for 5, 10 years and be
yeah.
cool.
I mean, not
20,
with
I
their
think 20 is
scheduling,
better.
but yes, in general.
Yeah, but
There's just so much. I think that's what's irritating is if the expansion was the only thing that was going on, fine. But because roster spots and scheduling issues and expanding the playoffs and expanding the season in general and people aren't getting paid and like all of this is going on at the same time, it's like, okay,
yeah, but I mean, some of that is just the nature
uh,
of you can't control timing, right?
yeah,
It blew up all at once. And you
yeah,
have to capitalize, which is why I don't think it's going too fast because you can't say, wait, we have all this momentum, people care, let's do
yeah,
expansion in 10 years. Like, you need to do it now. And
yeah.
then they do, but the thing that they need to do, which is why I've always been stuck on 20, is they need to get to a number. 20 would be 2/3 of what basketball has. It's almost 2/3 of the NFL, more currently than the NWSL. It's exactly 2/3 again of baseball. Like if the men's leagues have 30, and the women's leagues are getting there, getting to 20, I think is a good number to like take a breath.
Hmm.
And then whenever you're ready again, you can start it. I mean, you don't, 30 is like the number in professional sports, but like you don't even have to get to 30. Like you could just be 20
Yeah, it'd be
if that
fine.
really
Yeah,
like worked
yeah,
for you. But like you could take X number of years to really sort of think about it and knowing, well, we did still have 8 other cities, because right now with the 8 cities they could get to 26 if they approved all of them. We did have 8 other cities, maybe in 5 or so years, meaning 5 years from 2030 to
yeah,
2035. Maybe
yeah,
there's a couple other cities that want to get in. Let's add a few more, and then you know, maybe do it longer. But I think you do it now. It's a little awkward, it's a little unfortunate. You get to that number you want to stay at, maybe it's 18, maybe it's 20, and then you're like, 5, like we're gonna go through a full TV deal. We're gonna go through a full collective bargaining. We're just gonna let it breathe, and then,
We'll see.
but you know,
We will see. Anyways, let's get to my personal favorite conference, she said with joy, the Southeastern
uh,
Conference.
are you? That's not. It's not your baby.
Y'all know how I feel about the SEC. If you don't,
Yeah,
you're about to find out.
it's funny. They knew that they knew that we were recording because we legit just got I just got a notification that basically said what we said, but basically the owner of the Celtics came out. It was like it hasn't been approved yet. So whoever wrote the article was a
Lied.
little misleading.
Which in sports media is unfortunately a very, very big issue. That is part of the reason why I am aspiring to be in sports media because we have lost the true essence of truth telling. We have lost it. It has
Yeah.
been lost. We
And it
just want to
doesn't
get the
hurt to be
clicks.
like, they've agreed to a deal. They want to move it to
They
Boston
want exactly, not
if it
it's
gets
going to
approved.
move.
Like,
Exactly. There's a difference between saying it could be moved and it's going to
yeah.
move. There's a difference, but that would require like real journalism. Anyway,
And SEC. So as you know, we are doing our previews. We are doing the SEC. Our If this is your first episode, go backwards.
welcome.
We have the well, yes, welcome, and then go backwards. We have the Big 12 preview. We have the we have the ACC preview. We're doing the Big 10 next week, and the way we do our previews, is I think unique. I'm not saying it's better or worse, but as people who do
It's
not do
better.
this,
No, I'm playing.
as people who do not do this full time and to get paid for it, we are not going to talk about every single team. We're going to focus on the things that the casual college fans, that the regular college fans talk about. Let's be honest, unless you're like me, because I will listen to this preview. Unless you're like me, you don't care what Mississippi State's doing. Like you don't want me talking about Kentucky. Like you just don't. Like let's be honest. Like next week you don't want to hear us talk about Northwestern. So
Yeah.
we keeping it straight to the point. Our previews, we do emerging storylines, top transfers, contenders, dark horse, critical matchups, and then because everything's about the playoffs, we predict the number and the playoff teams, and we predict the conference winner. The playoff piece culminates in another show that we're going to do where we're going to take our previews because, we like to stick to our word and build a playoff bracket.
Period.
One thing I will tell you, DJ, as we get
Yes.
started on air for everyone to listen to, one thing you're going to have to consider with your bracket is I think, uh, if you put them at 4,
Okay.
um, either Notre Dame doesn't get in or the ACC only has 1. Like I was doing the math. If the Big Ten and the SEC both have 4, and then the ACC has 2, that's 10. And then you have to have 1 G5, 1 Big 12. So that's just something to think about. That's why my number is what it is, because I was trying to do the math, and it's basically as you're doing this, before we say it out loud, you have to determine if you think Notre Dame's going to get in, because you may have to remove one of these teams.
That's why
Joy.
I was looking at it
But
crazy because I was like, this doesn't make
yeah,
this doesn't
what I will say is that because this is our show, we can do whatever we want to. We cannot change our conference winners at all. But if you wanted to go back and say the ACC only gets 1, we could do that on that show. But you're gonna have to figure out what you want to do with Notre Dame. Yeah. So SEC preview, emerging storylines. Listen, I'm sorry, maybe it's me, but the SEC is boring. To be
I'm
fair,
so bored.
to be fair, so is the Big Ten in this particular thing. Like the ACC and the Big 12 had a lot of emerging storylines. There's not really a lot of emerging storylines in the Big Ten either. So like to be like, I was kind of stretching a little bit to try to get to these.
Because
But
there's
the
not
first one,
really yeah, I was just gonna say I'm like, it's the same old.
yeah.
South SEC. Oh my gosh, everybody's so good. Who's gonna be gooder than the good ones?
Yeah, and
Ugh.
especially because it's just like we are gonna do this in the season. Like I'm not frustrated enough to go on my rant about how the SEC is not as good as people think. And this is not to say that they're not good, but I was literally listening to a show and they were like, "Oh my God, Oklahoma has the hardest schedule in the country." And then I looked at it and I was like, I think Wisconsin's is harder. And then I listened to people and they were like, oh, it's so hard because they have to play Ole Miss and Missouri. And I'm like, Here you go, overhyping again. Like, I'm not even saying,
Right.
and listen, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that their schedule's easy. I'm just saying, like, when you look at, let's
We
say,
for real.
Oklahoma and you look at Wisconsin's schedule, those two we're comparing. The difference is how you feel about the middle of the conference, how you feel about, for example, Missouri versus Illinois or something like that. And they're like, they gotta play Missouri and Auburn. And I'm like, fucking Auburn?
Oh,
We're
don't piss
saying
me
this,
off.
we're talking about this is a hard schedule. You're talking about
We're
Auburn,
talking about
dog.
the same Auburn that never mind.
Yeah. And I'm actually like, I'm gonna skip around because it was hilarious. I do have to read you the schedule very quickly.
Right. Whose schedule is this?
Because
This is Oklahoma's, right?
yes.
Okay.
Because I was just like, hey man, y'all some lying motherfuckers. You do know that, right? Like y'all hold on. I wonder, man, technology is great, but I don't think it's good enough for me to put both of the schedules up at the same time. That would be wonderful. But
If you're sharing your whole screen and you do split screen, it won't do that.
I think it's gonna be weird on the video.
Come on, sausage. We're showing you how the sausage is made currently.
Listen. And again, don't get me wrong. I don't want to be misquoted. Although if you misquote me, that means you listened. And make sure you like, follow, subscribe. Even if you yell at us. Their schedule is not easy, but it is mildly overrated. And we'll go through it really quickly because why not? We can do the show in whatever order we want to, can't we?
Period. Y'all don't know what the show plan says.
I probably could. Do you want me to try it? We're
May as
talking.
well.
Like, do you want me to try the split screen and see how bad it looks? See
We
if it
may as
looks
well
good.
not see how bad it looks.
I'm just worried, you know. One day we're gonna get paid for this, and we're gonna have a producer, and we can just text them, and they're gonna do
And be
this for
like,
us, and we don't have to talk about
is
it
this
out loud.
working? Is this
Yeah,
working? Is this not working?
yeah, but you know, it doesn't matter because you all listen to the show. We're not perfect, so okay.
You know, I'm not perfect and I'm never
Here
gonna
we
try
go.
to be perfect for y'all. So please.
We are going to compare. We're going to compare the schedules and see what you all think. Tell me if I'm lying. That's
Oh,
not bad. That's
it's not
fine.
terrible. I mean, it looks crazy to
Okay.
me, but it might be because of me.
So, yeah.
But this looks
So,
fantastic.
Wisconsin is on the right, Oklahoma is on the left. And let's
All
go through it.
right,
Let's
come
just talk
on.
about it. Let's just go one for one. First of all,
Let's just
Miami of
talk about it.
Ohio won 11 games last year. Miami of Ohio won 11 games last year and won the MAC conference. So, they're a harder team than both Illinois State and Temple. So that's a lot. That's off of it. We're wrong. I'm not going to pretend that I remember a lot about Middle Tennessee State, but I also
I'm
think they're
never
better
gonna
than
act like
Illinois
I know
State and
anything.
Temple.
I don't even
I'm pretty
know.
sure Temple's one of the Illinois State. I'm just going to say it, and if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Middle Tennessee State is better than Illinois State and Temple. So right
Okay,
there, the non-con, and then we have Alabama versus Michigan. Which one do you think is harder?
you want me to be honest?
All right then. So just in the non-con alone, we're 3 games in non-con alone. Wisconsin's is better. Let's go. Okay, but the one thing is they both play Alabama and Michigan.
They do.
So I will
Okay.
give them that. They both play Alabama and Michigan. So to go through the schedule, they then and they play Kent State. I love my Kent. I do. I love him to death, but booty cheeks, trash, garbage, gross. And so they play Auburn. You are not gonna tell me Auburn's good. Kent State, they play Texas. That's a tough game. They play South
Oh yeah.
Carolina. Cool. That's a tough game.
Sure.
They play Ole Miss. Uh,
Sure.
I don't know if Ole Miss is a tough game this year because of
Maybe
how
last
much they're
year.
replacing.
Yeah.
Tennessee
Yeah.
is not a tough game this year.
Yeah.
Don't this number 19 that you see here is a lie.
That is because they are Tennessee.
They play Alabama. That is a very tough game. They play Missouri. And then they play LSU. That is a tough game. So what did we say? We said Texas, Alabama,
Bama.
LSU, and Michigan. We'll give them the 4. But Wisconsin also plays Michigan and they also play Alabama. So we've
And they
already
play
said,
Ohio State
yeah,
and Oregon.
yeah, and Iowa. Like so here's the thing, right? So they already played the 2. They play Ohio
And
State and
Indiana.
Oregon and Indiana and Illinois. So ultimately this comes down to like, do you think Illinois is better than Indiana? Well, they're ranked higher and they beat them last year. Do you think Indiana is better than Ole Miss and Tennessee? To be fair, they're ranked higher and They made the playoffs last year. The other two didn't.
And now
Ole Miss, we'll see, but I don't think they're going to be good because they lost a lot, and Tennessee's just not going to be good this year. And then because people don't pay attention to the Big Ten, they don't consider teams like Washington, who's going to
I
be a
was
tough
just about to
team,
say Washington is
and
not.
Iowa, who's always a tough team. So
Yes,
objectively, especially when you consider non-con, Wisconsin's schedule is harder. I'm not saying Oklahoma has an easy schedule, but we don't have to lie and be like, Oklahoma has the hardest conference schedule. Like, you can only say they have the hardest schedule in the country if you're overhyping the SEC. Because even on rankings alone, just pure preseason rankings, it's not true.
it's not. Yeah.
Wisconsin plays the higher ranked teams.
Well, it's because it's chock full of all these SEC teams. So they're like immediately like, it's hard. Okay.
So
Anyways, child,
this is the SEC preview. This is not our
you
time
can
to
say
shit on the SEC. I'm sorry.
I
I
will
just
be
had to
shitting on
say
the
it.
SEC.
So
I
emerging
will be. I'm
storylines.
actually already doing it.
Hey, what can you
Any,
do?
I
um,
just
emerging storylines. The first one that I have is new QBs on Contenders. Georgia
yes,
has a new quarterback. His
God
name
bless them.
is a name. His name is Gunnar Stockton because
That's his
Carson
name.
Beck, who was not good, transferred to Miami. Ole Miss has a new quarterback. His name is also a name. I believe his name is Austin Simmons, who, listen, never heard of him before.
I never heard of this young man.
He was, uh, he's been there for two
Oh
years.
God,
He was pretty highly ranked, but it's just the thing where like they recruited a quarterback and they're hoping
sat him
that
for a
he's
little
good,
bit. Yeah,
which is what
exactly.
happens, right? Like, I mean, that's what
Yeah,
Ohio State's doing. That's what Bama's doing. Like, I'm not going to talk trash about the kid. The point is that he's new.
we don't know who he is.
Texas
Yeah,
has a new quarterback. He does have a name, but he is a new starter,
we know who
and
he.
Arch Manning. And
Right.
Alabama also has a new quarterback. Their
It's goodbye.
quarterback
That running back,
is,
Jalen Milrow.
yes, their their quarterback is supposed to be Ty Simpson. Which, breaking news, Ty Simpson is white.
Huh? With a name like
I
that?
didn't, right?
Like, okay, your daddy might be black, but
Listen,
okay.
I was talking to my friend who's a Bama fan, and she mentioned him being white. And I was like, wait, who is Alabama's quarterback gonna be? She was like, Ty Simpson. I said, Ty
But the thing
Simpson
is,
is
that's not a
white?
guarantee. At least based on what I've been reading, that's not a guarantee. Like, there's actually going to be like a level of
Yeah,
earning the spot specifically at Bama because of how stacked the room is. But
yes.
technically, if you're talking about like seniority, Ty Simpson
And
is
what has been told to us, like the rumors and the things that people who are around have been saying, is that he has the lead, and it is expected that he is the starter.
he's going to
He could
start.
lose the job in fall camp. That happens. But
Yeah,
like as of today, the expectation is that
he's the
Ty,
guaranteed
for
starter.
Tyler, not Tyrone Simpson.
I see. I wasn't going to say Tyler. I was going to say Tyson. I was thinking it was short for Tyson. But yes, he is 6'6", which I'm like having a hard time like computing a 6'6" quarterback. I don't know. Like it's not computing. So that's gonna be interesting.
It happens.
I know that's what, but like I can't even like Tom Brady not that tall, is he? He's like 6'4",
Mm-mm.
right?
No, there are 6'6" quarterbacks. I'm trying to think of who they
I'm like,
are.
who's like a
Is
major
Josh
quarterback that's
Allen
over
6'6"?
6'5"? Is he?
I think
Mm,
I think Josh Allen might be 6'5", but like
okay.
exactly. I don't think
Like
he's
a
six
good
six.
I need a y'all need to tell me. I'm genuinely curious. I need an elite quarterback that is over the height of 6'5". Yeah, Josh Allen
I
6'5".
think a lot of them actually stop at 6'5". Okay, because we have this ability,
Anyway, sorry.
I just
I'm
have to.
crying. Oh, this
That's
to
not a
me looks
tie.
like
That's not a
that's a
tie.
Jake.
That is
That's a
not a
Jake.
tie.
That's a Jake.
So it doesn't even look like Tyler. That's not a tie.
You
That's
know,
a John Simpson the
this is
third.
why we named the baby we should name the babies after their faces develop because you might not really be the name that you were given, but you were all scrunched up
Yeah.
and fresh, and so we had to name
I
you.
I went
Anyways,
to high school with someone that looked like this. His name was John. This is John
everybody has
Simpson the
gone to high
third.
school with somebody that looks like
You
that.
know what I'm saying? This is you can keep the last name. We'll let you have the last name, but it is 100. This is a I don't care. This is John Simpson the third.
I'm sure
Maybe
all of them
Junior. We'll give him Junior maybe, but like tie.
I'm sure
Mm.
all of the diehard racist Bama fans are so excited that they're getting their All-American white boy as a quarterback again. They've been in the trenches for the last couple of years with these black quarterbacks.
Hey,
They are
they
just
said
they
they
have been in the
said no.
trenches.
There's no more lank, no more Letta naysayer. No, we gotta do none of that. It's a good old. I don't know. I'm just assuming good old Southern Baptist
Blue belt,
tie.
blue-blooded, white, young, with a strong handshake or whatever you be
So
saying.
yeah, a
Anyways,
strong handshake and a Southern belle for a girlfriend. He's
she's
6'6".
blonde.
His
She's
girlfriend is
blonde and a cheerleader.
absolutely 5'3". His girlfriend's absolutely 5'3", Southern belle.
She wears sequins, like, on
Yeah.
occasion. Everything she has is monograms, like,
Hmm.
yeah.
Love that.
Anyways,
Love
but he
that.
gets NIL money probably a little bit, so she got a little bit going on for her.
A
Anyways,
little something, a little something, something. So
the point is a couple of these
for
teams have new quarterbacks.
and three of them are teams that most people expect to make the playoffs.
Yes.
One of them, maybe two of them, are teams that people think are
Could sneak
national
in.
title contenders. And
Yes.
so it is a very interesting thing, especially because this is going to go smoothly right into our next storyline. There are other teams who don't have the cachet, but who potentially have better quarterbacks. And those quarterbacks are, depending on who you ask, Heisman contenders. You have Garrett Nussmeier at LSU. You have Lenore Sellers at South Carolina. Ryan Williams is not a quarterback, but if you can't talk
He's
about
a
Heisman
he's a
contenders
Heisman contender though,
and
yeah.
the SEC and not mention Ryan Williams, but so you have these four teams with the cachet, the blue buds, all the blue chips, all the players, all the hype, all the things, but they're all breaking in new quarterbacks. And realistically, it's unlikely that all of them play well, that like all
Yeah,
of them hit. So then you're
yeah.
playing this game of like, what does Georgia look like if their quarterback's not good? What does
Well,
Texas
we
look
saw that
like?
last year.
True. But what if
12
he's
picks in
worse?
6
But what
games,
if he's
like,
worse? Like
I
12
can't
picks in six
imagine.
games is crazy.
I can't that's what it is, it's 12 picks in 6 games. I can't imagine that it gets worse than 12 picks in 6 games, and that's no shade to Carson Beck. I do think he might be a little
Shit.
bit better. He might be a little bit better in Mario Batali.
If you're just making up stuff now.
It's a chef. Um,
Okay.
he used to be
So,
an Iron Chef. He fell
okay.
from grace for, harming women like most men do. But,
Ah, shame.
what's his name? Mario Badescu. What is his name? Mario
Cristobal. Mario Cristobal.
Okay. Just go ahead.
So yeah, that it's just unlikely, right? That in my opinion, that all of it works out. Some people are going to take the easy way out and just say Ole Miss is the one that doesn't work out. But like Ole Miss has a great track record with Lane Kiffin, so you don't know. And then you do like, can a Garrett Nussmeier sneak up on Georgia, Alabama, something like that because he's
Yeah,
better, he has another year in the offense, etc. Can Lenore Sellers, who people are talking about as a first round pick, someone who can run and throw that they're very excited. Can he lead South Carolina past them, etc.? So,
yeah.
and then that sort of whatever it is, transition, into our last
Transition,
storyline,
transition.
which is hot seat coaches.
Yes, and
Um,
some of them are about ready to they are in firing territory, let me tell you.
yeah,
They are
and
in
and the interesting thing is, it's just that the funny thing about these three coaches who are going to say all of them are, I think their seat is even hotter because of the hype surrounding them.
Yeah,
Like Florida, Billy Napier. Let's
yeah.
talk about Florida for a second. Everyone thought that Florida was going to fire Billy Napier last year.
So much
Then,
so that there was a statement released in the middle of the season saying, "We're not firing him." That's the team,
yes,
right? Yeah.
yes. Then his quarterback, DJ Lagway, comes back from being injured as a freshman, and they won consecutive games. They beat LSU, they beat Ole Miss, they destroyed their rival Florida State, and then they beat Tulane. They ended up on a 4-game winning streak, and everyone's like, "Oh my God, Florida, Florida, Florida!" Because the coach wasn't fired because of DJ Lagway. They then started recruiting better, which
Spell my name.
again, they got some transfers and things, and so now it's like Florida has these high expectations. But the thing is, you don't get to go from almost fired to safe. You have to have a good year this year. How
Absolutely.
good of a year is that? Not exactly sure, but they do still have a tough schedule. They do still have to play LSU. They have to play Miami. They play Texas. They play Texas A&M.
Saying it.
They play Georgia. They play like so. They need to win maybe 9 games. Like, is 8-4 enough? I don't. I
No,
don't know. What
no.
happens if they start out 2-3 with losses to LSU, Miami, and Texas? Do they just fire him? I mean, like then, so I don't like you don't know. So he's on the hot seat, but again, partially because there's a lot of hype around the team now after he saved his job, and it seems like Lenore Sellers is going to be a star. The next coach at Venables at Oklahoma, he's had
Child.
2 losing seasons under them. His first season, he won 6 games. He went 6-7, and then the year 2023, he won 10 games. And then last year he went 6-7 again. So they're not Oklahoma's not going for that. Like they're not going for that. You
Oklahoma's
can't
like, get
you
him out of here.
you go six and
Officer,
seven
this
again,
one right here.
done. So he did a major sort of uh portal haul. He fired his offensive coordinator. He brought in 29-year-old Ben Arbuckle, who was the coordinator at Washington State in Western Kentucky. At Western Kentucky, he got Bailey Zappi drafted because Bailey Zappi threw for 5,967 yards and 62 touchdowns.
Hello.
He then got Cam Ward drafted, basically, because he revitalized Cam Ward's career. Cam Ward threw for 3,700 yards and 25 touchdowns, which got him the ability to transfer to Miami, which got him to the first round pick.
Correct.
Then last year, after Cam Ward had left, he had John Mateer, who is probably not going to be like a super high draft pick, but like John Mateer had a good year for him. John Mateer last year, 3,100 yards, 29 passing touchdowns, 826 rushing yards, and 15 rushing touchdowns. So in this offense, John Mateer contributed to 44 total touchdowns and essentially 39, almost 4,000 total. They're bringing that to Oklahoma.
I was about to say he came.
Quarterback and coach, like
They were like they came as a package.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, and then on top of that, which is, stealing things from our next segment, but it is important, they also bring Jaden Ott, who's a really good running back from Cal. So they're also in a place where like he's the worst off of all of them because like you can't go 6-7
He
again,
built.
but
Yeah.
you also have all of this hype because of John Mateer, because of the offense, because of the fact that this guy has essentially gone 3 for 3 with quarterbacks and all of this sort of stuff, and you brought the quarterback with him. So, boom. The last one is Brian Kelly at LSU,
Whew.
who has not necessarily been awful per se, but he's not meeting LSU
LSU
standards.
awful. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
LSU he went uh 10-4 in his first year and lost to Georgia in the conference championship game. But the problem with that is he had Jaden Daniels. No, was Jaden
Yes.
Daniels 2023? He had him both years. Did he have Jaden Daniels for 2 years?
3. He had Jaden Daniels in 2023. Did he have him in 2022?
Either way, he
Last
had a
year he
good
had Joe
team.
Burrow. The year
Yeah.
before that he had Jalen
No,
Milrow.
he didn't get
The
Joe
year
Burrow.
before-
Joe Burrow he didn't have Joe. He came the year after Joe. I just can't remember if Jaden was there for 2 years or not.
Oh, Joe's not 2021. Joe's not
He is,
2022.
but Brian
Okay.
Kelly was 2020. No. Joe is 2019, by the way, because that's the year they won the
Is
championship.
he that
Joe's been
old?
in the league for a while. Yeah,
Oh my goodness.
he's our age. Like yeah, like Joe,
Don't do that.
he's a little bit younger. He's a couple years younger, but like Joe, yeah, he he's not. Yeah, he won his national championship in
Why is my
2019 and was
my
the
like
number 1 pick in 2020. He's been in the
see
league for 4 years. Yeah,
anything that happens in them 2020s, early 2020s, the COVID. Okay, so
yeah,
anyways,
the COVID.
go ahead.
So like he has not been as bad as the others, right? He won 10 games twice in 2022 and 2023, but the problem is 2023 he
Eyes
for
are closed.
sure had Jaden Daniels, and that is the year that Jaden Daniels won the Heisman, but they lost games that they shouldn't have lost, and they didn't make the playoffs. And then last year, they sort of continued that trend. They lost to Florida, which they shouldn't have lost to Florida. They lost to USC, which USC was awful in the Big Ten last year.
Oh my gosh.
And then and so they lose 4 games last year, and also so it's like, are they going to fire Brian Kelly? I don't know because I don't know his buyout, but like the other, like, Oklahoma has had 6 wins, Florida's had 6 wins. Like they're at 9 and 10 wins, but that's not what LSU's looking for.
Once. Yeah.
And to continue the trend, when you have the hype, you have Garrett Nussmeier, who people are saying is in contention for the #1 pick and a Heisman contender. You have this defense that is supposed to be coming back. You're getting Harold Perkins back. I mean, last year, Garrett Nussmeier in his first season as starter threw for 4,000 yards and 29 touchdowns, 12 picks. If he gets better in his second year, like you typically do, he could do that again.
And
Maybe a
do
couple
and be
more
even
yards,
more
a couple more
productive.
touchdowns,
Yeah.
and less picks, right? That wins you some games. You have,
Also, they added 6 of the top 50 transfers in the entire portal, and their 12 4-stars were the second most nationally. So they got the number 3 and number 9 wide receiver, number 2 and number 4 interior offensive lineman, number 2, number 4, and number 14 defensive lineman, and number 3 and number 4 safeties. So if you go shopping like that,
right. Adding to the quarterback, adding to
adding
the
to
fact
that,
that you found a good running back last year. Now you have wide receivers. Their biggest problem the last couple of years was their secondary. You just talked about how they adjusted that.
yeah,
And but then on top of that, they're returning 5 starters from their front seven,
yeah.
including Jacobian Guillory and Harold Perkins, who were lost last year due to injuries in September. And then you have 2 guys who are true freshmen who lock down your defensive tackles, and Dominic McKinley and Ahmad Burrow,
Yeah, I'm not gonna try to say
um, starting back,
power.
and then you have and then you have the transfers. So this is one of those things where, like, if you go 8-4, 9-3, are they going to keep you? And
That's your
it's
fault.
possible that they will because they have a tough schedule. They play Clemson, they play Texas, they play Alabama, they play Oklahoma. Like, it's not the
They
toughest
play
schedule, but
Florida,
like
they play A&M,
there are teams that they could lose to that he's shown his ability to lose to. But like, I
and Imma
do
say
they?
Vanderbilt too, because we should be concerned about Vanderbilt.
Yeah, it's like if they don't make a playoff, well, what do they do with Brian Kelly? Like, how much longer does he get? So
Mhm.
I would say like the seat is hotter on Napier and Venables. Um, but LSU has fired coaches who's won a national championship. He's
Yeah,
gonna go 4 seasons without even making the playoffs.
no.
Ugh.
And
I
them
bet you.
boosters, the amount of money that that collective has, they can buy them out.
Yeah. And my thing is, I don't know if he's going to go back south, but he did coach in the SEC before. If Penn State doesn't win a national championship and you don't make the playoffs, why wouldn't you call James Franklin and say, you got close? You can't do it here.
Do it here.
Everyone does it here. Everyone does it here. We all do it, except Brian Kelly, which is why he got fired. Their last 3 coaches have all won a national championship. You telling me he's not going to pick up the call? They're gonna say, "Hey,
Yeah.
you had your best stretch. You had your best team you've ever had, and you didn't win a natty. All of them players are gone. How does Baton Rouge sound?"
I hate you.
I would make the call. I would make the call personally. Maybe there's some other coaches, but like if USC too, honestly. Like if they have another bet, but we're not talking about the Big Ten. Like I'm calling James Franklin. If he doesn't win a natty, I'm calling it and I'm saying, hey, you sure you like them mountains? You sure you like that cold? Your team's gonna be worse. You couldn't do it. Come be with the big ballers. Come be with the boss. Like
Big
stop
ballers.
playing. Everybody wins
But
here.
doesn't James Franklin have, like, a particular interest in winning a championship at Penn State specifically?
But when you've been there for a decade and you haven't done it, you start to listen. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, I'm just saying. I
Because like I feel like if he doesn't, because the and coaches don't always think like this, or they won't admit to thinking like this. If he doesn't do it this year, when's he gonna do it?
Yeah, that's also true.
Where like the way LSU is situated, he could go to LSU
He can
and
win
win
it right
literally
then.
next year. Like he could
Yeah,
win it the next year. Like if Penn State doesn't win it this year, they're not winning it the year after that. They're losing too many
yeah,
people.
yeah,
And no disrespect to James Franklin, who's a great coach, his roster is not built like at Ohio State,
yeah.
Bama, Georgia, where you can confidently say they can lose 14 draft picks, which is what they're about to do, right? And still be great the next year. Like there's a very real chance that they turn into an 8-4 team, even if it's only for one year. Sorry, this is too much on the Big Ten and the SEC
It
show,
is.
but if Brian Kelly doesn't do it, I'm calling James, especially if James doesn't win the Natty, right?
So we
If
feel
they
like Brian Kelly's in a position where it's like natty or bust, like he's getting fired if they don't get a natty, or we feel
playoff,
like he's getting fired if they don't make it to the play. Okay,
it's hard to anywhere. It's hard to fire someone for not making the Natty. They have to make the playoff.
playoffs.
If
Yeah,
they do not make the playoff, I think he's
he's out of there.
so
They gave him 3 years. They gave him a good go.
yeah, this would be
Get
his
up out of
fourth
here.
year. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
like,
and get
hey,
up out of
like,
here.
what do
They
you
gave him a
like?
good go.
And with the 12-team playoff too, like I think that's something we're gonna have to get
Yeah, like you should at
adjusted
least get
to.
that at large
It's
bid.
one thing with the four. If you go 2 years at a big school and you don't make the 12-team playoff, I don't know. I don't know.
It's
I
becoming.
don't. Yeah. See
Thank
you
you so
later.
much
It
because
take this buyout.
I do think it depends on it's very situational, but especially when you're talking about the SEC. Not making being on the upper echelon of the SEC, being in the top 5, top 6 of the SEC, and you're not finding a way to get an at-large bid
And as an
in a
Ohio,
12-team playoff.
yeah. And LSU, like Ohio State, has won three natties in the last since 2000. And I could very much see them, especially in a 12-team playoff, getting itchy where they're like, we haven't won it in 6 years. And it doesn't seem like you can do it. So it's time to move on.
On because realistically, your chances of getting in should be higher,
Right.
right? Like, especially as a SC, again, upper level SEC team,
Yeah.
your chances of getting in should be. I mean, not that it's guaranteed, but we also know how the committee treats the SEC. So it's like
Yeah.
if you're 11-1, if you're 10-2, if you're up there, you're making it in.
Right. And if you
Like
didn't make it in, that means you lost three
that means you
games,
lost 3 games because
four
that was the
games. Like,
conversation about Bama and Ole Miss and South
yes.
Carolina and all of them last year was you have 3 losses. Don't nobody want to see no 3-loss team in the playoffs. You gotta win. You gotta win 10.
Yeah.
Period. And you're gonna
100%.
and even still, depending, he might still get fired. Even if they make it to the playoffs, he might still get fired.
Yeah, I mean, if they do, I don't think he will unless they start making them calls. But like, if they go and they get blown out first round,
That's
something
what I'm
like that.
saying.
Like if he pulls a Tennessee,
Yeah,
goes and gets blown out first round, I
ass is
don't know.
grass.
That may not be enough. Like, you know what I'm
Ass is
saying?
grass.
Like if they especially if they get in at like the 11th seed, so they barely got in, and then they get blown out by like a Penn State and Ohio State and Oregon. So I
Thank
don't
you for
know.
coming, Brian Kelly. Please go be somebody's coordinator somewhere.
Yeah.
Um,
um. So contenders, we've talked about a lot of these teams just by the nature of our emerging storylines and Heisman contenders, but the contenders that we have for this league, three of them are not going to surprise you: Bama, Georgia,
ah,
Texas,
what?
and then the last
Shock.
one is LSU. I do legitimately think LSU is going to have a good team this year, which makes it even more imperative that
They,
everything that we just said, we don't need to repeat ourselves. So,
yeah, yeah.
who is there any? So I'm trying to think if there's anything else we don't.
It's like the SEC is boring. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. Like it just is what it is because it's the same. It has been for me, and y'all got to forgive me, okay? Because I'm going from casual fan to more invested fan this year. So I still consider myself somewhere on the spectrum between casual and invested. But prior to me actually watching the games for real, everybody always knew that the top teams usually are the Bamas, the Georgias, the LSUs, the Texases. I mean,
Well,
Texas hasn't
yeah.
always been at the top, but Texas has always kind of been, at least being Texan, has always been hailed as like a good football school, even though they weren't always winning. Um, so for me as a casual fan, I was always bored with the SEC because I'm like, it's the same old people. And then, I lived through the Nick Saban Bama era. So it's just like, oh. And then the media is so goofy behind them that it's just like, it's just not as fun as like the
Hmm.
Big 12, where it's like, oh my gosh, it really is any given team. Because realistically, and this is my genuine opinion, and this is jumping ahead a little bit, but like Texas is going to win the conference. Like, we don't even need to like do this. Texas is going to win the conference. I don't think Bama is there yet. We'll see. And the only reason why I feel that way about Bama is because the inconsistency at QB, like that is just something they're gonna have to work out. And yes, it's gonna be Ty or whoever to start off, but he might stink it up. Who knows? And then now we have to go through the rotation of the three, right? So Brian Williams, hopefully having a good season will kind of get them where they need to get to, even if the quarterback is or isn't good. But it's like I don't trust Bama right now. I don't really trust the situation with LSU right now. Maybe it'll turn out well, but we've talked about the whole mass influx of transfers things not always being a good thing. And then, you know, when it comes to Georgia, back to the quarterback thing. So I'm just kind of like, Texas is the
Yeah,
only team right now that
honestly,
makes me, you know,
yeah, honestly, I was literally like, as I was listening to you talk, I was literally just like, take your word for word Bama argument and put that on Georgia, and that's me.
that's
And
the same.
and
Yeah,
it's largely because for me, even if Ty Simpson is bad, I think Bama has a backup.
yeah,
I
I
don't
agree.
think Georgia has a
I
backup.
don't think Georgia has one either.
Like if he's bad, you know what I'm saying?
That's just what you got.
So
That is just what you. But my thing is also, and the reason why I don't have the same strength of argument for Georgia as I do for Bama is that Carson Beck was booty to me. So I'm like, surely there's only you can only go up from there. Not saying Carson was like horrible. Like obviously Georgia was winning games, but also
fair.
there were times where it did seem like it was Carson Beck's sole purpose to make sure that they lost.
Yeah.
So
I
that's
yeah.
why I'm like,
I think, and this is gonna like a sneak peek of where we're gonna end the show. I trust Bama's roster this year only
this year,
over Georgia's,
agreed.
and so because of that, I think the I'm just gonna tell you, I think their roles are gonna be reversed.
Hmm.
Like
From what
I
I'm
think
saying about Bama.
no, from last year. Also, what you're saying, but
Oh,
from
what they
last year.
yes.
I think their roles are going to be reversed. I do agree with you that Texas is probably going to win it all. I do not think that Arch Manning is God's gift to Earth,
I need
but
everybody to calm down. They are smoking the Arch Manning pack and living in the clouds in a way that is so goofy. I don't think I've seen this much goofiness behind a particular athlete besides the way that people act about Caitlin Clark. I'm not even trying to be funny. They are truly acting like he is God's gift to football. And I need everybody to calm down. Like, is
and
he good? He's fine. Like,
he's
yes,
fine, fine,
he played well in Quinn Ewers' absence. No one's saying Arch Manning came in
but
and
he
stunk.
wasn't special.
He played well, but he played I don't know, that's why it's gonna sound like kind of like I'm a hater, but I'm like, he played the way that you would expect an SEC quarterback to a young SEC quarterback to play.
Yeah,
He wasn't particularly prolific, but he also wasn't terrible. He just came out and he did what he was
yeah.
expected to do, and he did it well, and maybe that was shocking for people because he did well, I guess, but, like, it's also not like, "Oh my god, he's the best quarterback, give him the Heisman now." Like,
Which is what's happening.
we gotta stop. We have got to stop, and that's not to and I always say it from a perspective of the athlete. That's not fair to him.
And he's been telling people that. Like
Like,
if you listen to him talk, which here's the thing, he is a Manning, and
yes,
the one thing I will say about the Mannings is it is earned. Like the Mannings is not the family where they
they
get
don't
to
want handouts.
like it's so weird for them to but the thing is they don't. In a certain and on the foot okay, let me
From
say
the football
specifically
standpoint, from the
on the
really
football
and the football
field, they do not want handouts. If
yes.
they did, he wouldn't have went to Texas. If they
Yeah, he would've
did,
gone
he
somewhere where he had
wouldn't have
started
sat
immediately. Yeah,
behind Quinn Ewers for two
yeah.
years. And everyone is basically saying if you know the Mannings, he's going to be there for 2 years. Like he's not leaving this year. I don't even think they expect him
To
to
leave this
go
year. Yeah,
4,500 yards, 35
yeah.
touchdown Heisman contender. I think they all know what he is, which is a good but not great quarterback.
A
Does
quarterback
he
who is
have a
in
chance to be
development.
great?
Yes,
Maybe,
he's
maybe.
in development.
But
He's
the way
young.
people talk about him is that he's gonna like they talk about him like he's gonna be for example, Trevor Lawrence, who was a
Mhm.
quarterback who came out as a freshman and was immediately the second or third best quarterback in the country. Like immediately, right? Like CJ Stroud as a sophomore was immediately one of the best quarterbacks in the country. That is the level that we're talking about, right? And so I like for people to be specific, and they're almost never. If we talk about Dylan Rayola, who had a average regular freshman that like he had the year you expect of a freshman quarterback with his
Yes.
level. And again,
Yeah.
I understand that Arch is not a freshman, so that helps. He has 2 years in the system. If we talk about Dylan Rayola, and then we talk about the Trevor Lawrence, CJ Stroud, immediate Heisman contender in their first year, right?
Mhm.
Where's he at? In my opinion, he's almost directly in the middle,
He's in the
which
middle.
is he's good enough that you're not gonna be like he's ass, he needs to be replaced, he's not gonna lose his job. But I don't think he's an immediate. He has to go to the league, and I don't think he's an immediate Heisman contender. I don't think he's gonna be a
I don't
Heisman
think he
finalist. Like
I don't
like
think
it,
I think they're gonna talk about him in Heisman conversations for the entire year
yes,
because
but
they're
his
that
numbers
iffy,
aren't going to
but when
match
the
it.
votes come out, he's not but also, we could be wrong, like, I
Yeah,
want to be very clear, we could be wrong, he could actually be as prolific as they're saying, and maybe me and you just haven't seen enough of it to say that, like, maybe we come out first few games and it's like, "Oh my gosh, this kid has got it," and we just don't feel like that yet,
yeah,
but for me,
that's so possible.
I'm just not the biggest fan of, like, it's the same kind of issue I'm having with the WNBA right now. Like they have already decided that Nafisa Collier is the MVP, and that's fine. But I hate when the media predetermines the winner of an award because it affects the narrative. It affects how you talk about them. It affects how other people react to them. It affects the entire ecosystem. So when you are pre-selecting this person as the MVP of the league, then that influences the votes of those around. And then it also overshadows the people who are also having great seasons, such as Alyssa Thomas, Alicia Gray, those people who deserve votes and who deserve to be propped up and spoken about in the same way. But because we've already decided that it's the Fisa Collier, I'm going somewhere with this, then it's that. And I don't want that to happen to Arch, where it's like we've already decided that he's the Heisman winner. And so now he has this undue pressure, not only of playing as the Texas quarterback, which to me is a lot of pressure in and of
Yes,
itself. But now you have this undue pressure of holding up the Manning name, which he will always have. Now he has it as the Texas quarterback. And now you have to live up to this. You got to win the Heisman your
yeah.
first year starter. It's just kind of fucked up. It's just too much
I
for here.
agree. And that's one of the I think that's one of the things that like why we're good on this show because we have a very similar pain on that and like viewing like some it's and I always try to clarify because when you say things it sounds like you're hating, but it's like this is
I'm not being a hater.
genuinely in
Yeah.
concern for the athlete. Like
Yeah.
this is not great for them. And
Yeah.
so
This
we'll
is
see. We'll see.
actually,
Ultimately, we'll see. But I
yeah.
do think, and the other thing with Texas, because this is the time to say it, I do think they're going to be good. I think I've
Yeah.
predicted that they're probably going to make the national championship. I don't think I have them winning it, but I just wish,
They're right there.
Ohio State fan, I get it. I wish that the conversation about Texas was the same as the conversation about Ohio State, and that they're probably going to reload, but we don't know because they have an unknown quarterback. They lost, like everyone's like, oh my God, Ohio State lost everyone on their offense and defensive line. And that's not true. Ohio State is
Has depth.
returning four starters on their offensive line, and nobody knows it. Like literally, I was listening to a national podcast, and someone asked a question about Ohio State on the offensive defensive line, and even the people on the national podcast didn't say, "Well, I think their offensive line is going to be good because they're returning four starters." They're returning left guard, center, right guard, and their backup guard who ended up playing because of all the injuries, who's going to be the starting tackle. And then they brought in one of the best transfers for left tackle. Ohio State lost everyone on they lost a lot of people on their defensive line. That is a very fair thing. But in the comparison, Texas lost, I
Just as much,
believe,
didn't they?
they lost four starters on their offensive line. And everyone's just like, they're going to be great. They lost almost there. They lost three starters on their defensive line. The one player that they have back is really, really good, Colin Simmons, but they lost so much depth on their defensive line. They had to bring in a bunch of transfers. And we talk about the transfer thing all the time. They brought in really good transfers, but they brought in more they brought in three four-star transfers: Travis Shaw from UNC, Murad Watson from Syracuse, and Cole Brevard from Purdue. And so the thing is, like, are they going to be good? Yes. Are they going to reload? Probably. Have they been great at recruiting? Yes. But it's a very similar
It's
conversation, and
yet to be
it's just
seen. Yeah.
disingenuous. Like, let's be honest. We're an honest show. Ohio State lost some key people, but so
Mhm.
did Texas. Texas lost their starting
They
quarterback.
lost
Texas
Matthew
lost
Golden.
their wide receiver. They lost they're
They
gonna
lost
be
on the interior. They lost a
they
little bit in
lost
the secondary.
four, yeah, they lost three defensive linemen. They lost four offensive linemen. They lost their all SEC safety and Andrew Makoba. And they lost the Jim Thorpe Award, which is the award that goes to the best corner, and John A. Barron. So they lost their
Yeah.
best safety, their best corner, three defensive linemen, four offensive linemen, including one or two, but especially one who was a high first round pick, their quarterback, and their best wide receiver. And we're just like,
Texas
nothing.
is still amazing. And the thing about Texas is like Texas was one of the best defensive teams last year. So when you're losing that type of manpower on defense, hello. Like I agree. The question about Texas, and I know this is not technically a Big Ten show yet. We haven't gotten to the Big Ten, but Texas and Ohio, your path back to the Natty is going to be based on who has the most depth, or who has the most depth versus also who did the best recruiting technically in the transfer portal, because
Yeah.
y'all lost similar levels. But yes, like you said, the conversations are not as genuine. And I do believe the conversations are disingenuous because of Arch. I do believe we are
But
putting
even
so
that would be
much on
yeah.
like that they have Arch Manning, so they're gonna be
Agreed.
everybody now.
But even for me, if they were just like, Texas lost all of these things, but we believe in Arch, if they just said that, then that's
Yeah.
like cool. But the thing is, it's just like when it comes to Texas, they just sort of ignore all the things they lost. But then when it comes to Ohio State, and it's not only Ohio State, but just these two teams that are in this area, when it comes to Ohio State, they're listing everything, and some of it's wrong. Like I'm telling you, I don't think anyone in the national media knows that Ohio State's returning four starters on their offensive line. Like they're just grouping it together. We lost our almost our entire
Jordan
defensive
wants you
line,
guys to know that Ohio State is returning 4
but
starters on the offensive
but the thing
line.
is, when those are the things that matter,
That's
right?
gonna be an emerging storyline on our Big Ten.
When you have a young quarterback, the O line matters,
It
and you
matters. No,
have
you're
one
right.
team that's returning four, and you have one that's losing four, and it's like, can we just have a real conversation? And I say all this to say, because someone's gonna listen to this and ignore me. I do think Texas is gonna be good. I do think they're gonna at least make the Final Four, but I just think that a there's a for I got into this thing last year and used to make fun of me because I would say disingenuous all the time, and it's coming back. We're just having a disingenuous conversation
Disingenuous
about
is back.
Texas and in some of these sort of things. And since this is our show, I just feel like we should be honest about these teams,
Yes.
even if we have decent expectations. Because my thing is, the reason why I think Texas and Ohio State are going to be good this year is because everyone else also has new quarterbacks.
Yeah.
I know we can't go backwards, but if this Texas team and this Ohio State team played last year, I think one of them misses the playoffs. I think that the
Fully?
teams are good. Yes, I think the teams are good this year because Georgia has a new quarterback. Bama has a new quarterback. Oregon has a new quarterback. Like all of these teams are sort of in the same sort of space. So that allows you to do it with the young teams. But like if Oregon had their fifth year starter and Georgia still had Carson Beck, who's whatever, but he was a multi-year starter, and Bama is still like if they had Bama lost a bunch of people in the draft, if they had the defense and things that they were supposed to have in some of these things, like I think some of that changes. But both of them, this is the best year for them to be bringing in new starters because it's happening everywhere. All the old people are like everyone's playing their young defensive ends, everyone's playing their young safeties.
There's not a lot of
All the best
veteran
teams have,
teams.
yeah,
Yeah, there's not a lot of veteran teams
and
this year.
so I think they're both going to be good. But it's by nature of everything else going on this year, and I just this is our show. We can say it because nobody else is
Ohio
saying it.
State is returning 4 offensive linemen,
Yes,
starting offensive linemen, you guys.
yeah.
It is happening,
And
just in
Texas is
case.
returning two of the best defensive players in the country. Like, in case
Well,
you thought I was being negative on Texas because you don't listen, Texas is going to be good. Like I'm going to say it again, Texas is going to be good. But like, let's talk about it here.
let's be for real. Let's
Yeah,
be for real.
that's
I'm
it.
just saying my heart personally goes out to Arch Manning because I can't imagine the amount of pressure that he feels, and I hope that he's able to come out and play with some level of freedom so that way we can get a full scope of who he is
Yes,
and understand the type of quarterback that he is, because also I have a very strong feeling that a lot of undue and unnecessary comparisons to Peyton and Eli will also be happening.
which should not.
And it's just so unfortunate to watch. Like I already see it happening, and it's just so unfortunate to watch. And this is one of the
If he,
harsh things about being a legacy kid or a whatever is that's just going to happen. And I hate that for him, but I hope that he's able to come out and have his own identity,
yeah,
and we really be able to enjoy who he is outside of the fact that he's a Manning and all this other stuff, because that's a tough crown to bear as a
yeah.
20-year-old or 21-year-old um
I mean,
kid. But
The Manning name is so huge that Eli Manning is going to be a Hall of Famer, and he doesn't have a Hall of Fame resume.
career, correct. So,
Like that's what the Manning name is. The Manning name is it is so heavy that they're going to be the second ever family to have two brothers in the Hall of Fame.
yes, because the first family is the
Sharps.
Sharp family,
Yes.
period. Too
And
bad Shannon Sharp is ruining
the
his brother's induction because he's out here. creating
Yeah.
generational wealth
The
for white
and
women.
yeah, and
Anyway,
the third family is going to be the Watt family. But
yeah,
I don't
JJ Watt just signed, what is it, the biggest contract in the history of whatever position he plays.
TJ,
Chucks,
yeah.
I don't know. TJ, not JJ. There we go.
Yeah.
See, it's too many Watts.
Is
Um,
JJ in the Hall of Fame yet?
n- Not yet. I don't
I
believe
can't
so.
remember when he
Has
retired.
he even? No, he hasn't even been out long enough for that because he
That's
just
what I'm
retired
saying. Like I just time is a flat circle. When the hell did JJ Watt retire? I don't know.
last year, I
No, no,
believe.
no. It was more than that. But
Okay, 2 years ago?
I think it's four. I think this is the fourth.
No,
No, no,
there's
no,
no
no.
way.
This is the third because he's not eligible next year. Because I saw the look of first year guys. I think he's eligible in 2027.
He's been retired for this long.
How long?
3 years.
So I was right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. He'll be
NHL
eligible in
PGA
2027.
NFL Hall of
It's 5 years.
Fame eligibility. Is it five?
Yeah.
I don't really know. I'm being honest with you. I actually don't know.
No, no.
Yeah.
This one I know for
Must be
sure.
retired at least 5 consecutive
Yeah.
seasons and coaches only one. No mandatory waiting period for contributors, as in owners or executives. Whatever.
Yeah.
Um,
So this is his fourth year,
this will be his fourth year.
and so he'll be
Yeah,
eligible in 2027.
in 2027. Yeah, that'll
So
be his
by
first year
yeah,
of eligibility.
and
Yeah,
he's a first ballot Hall of Famer. So like yeah. So
I
yeah,
love it.
the Watt
Anyway,
brothers would be the third family
the next. Do
because
you don't think the Kelsey brothers will?
there'll be four, but they're still playing. Like
Oh,
I'm
that.
talking about the order. I'm talking about the
Oh,
order
okay, okay,
because
okay.
yeah. So like
Because I'm like,
Sharp's already happened. Eli's
like
gonna be
Travis, he only got
next.
one more year for real.
Yeah,
Let's be
like
honest.
Eli's gonna be next because I think he's eligible next year, the year after that.
Yeah,
And then for the Watt family,
I think Eli's been eligible.
no, no, he's not. He hasn't come up yet. Um, either this was his first year or next year. I don't think he's come up yet. Uh,
Okay,
um,
I don't care.
so yeah, and then
I
Manning's will
actually
be
don't care.
second, and then Watts will be third because I think
TJ wouldn't have been out yet though.
the Kelsey Watt thing depends on who retires first
Who
between
retires
TJ and
first? Yeah,
Travis.
yeah,
Because JJ's obviously going to get in before
correct.
Jason because he's at 5 and this is Jason's first year. But for
Yes,
the
yes.
second one, it depends because I think both
Who's
of like Travis is 100% first ballot. TJ's probably first ballot. So that one depends on who retires first. But those are the four. It's going to be those four
yes?
brothers. I don't know anyone else that has brothers in the league like that. So
I don't think
there
there
may end up being
are.
a couple cousins or things
Yeah,
like that, but like
unless
the
they count them
brothers,
boys that went the one that's in Oregon and the other one. I don't know their names, but the
Bo
one that's
Nix,
like
they're not going to be Hall of
I was like,
Famers.
unless they count them, because they be trying to count them and talk
They're
about their brothers and
adopted,
stuff.
but like they're
Which
not
is
like
like, and they are not to dismiss
yeah.
that family. I'm just
But
saying.
neither one of them is Hall of Famers. So
I don't.
I
Well,
think it's Bo
that's
Nix
not
and
my
Tez
business.
Johnson.
That's not my
Yeah.
business. Anyways, so
Um,
those are the main contenders: Bama, Georgia, the LSU, and Texas. We also have
Dark
our
Horse.
dark horse contenders. I don't agree with these, but you wrote them. Um, Texas
Which one
A&M,
don't you agree with?
Florida, Oklahoma, all of them.
Okay. Well,
Texas
okay.
A&M, Florida, and
Hold on.
Oklahoma.
Hold on. Hear me out. Hear me out. If you don't agree, that just means there's not a dark horse contender.
And that's what I was saying.
But I
Like, I
mean, you got
don't
to
think
pick
there is one.
somebody. Like, you got
I
to
know. That's why
pick,
I'm like, I don't think there is one. I think the SEC is very cut and dry. But if
Yeah,
we
and
must
we must.
name some
I
dark
will.
horses, I guess this is fine.
Yeah, I will get through this very quickly, okay? Florida Florida is off the strength of they have three good running backs, and if DJ Lagway is good, there's a chance
We're
that
having a
he's
different
gonna be
conversation.
something.
Yeah.
They also they brought in a former freshman All American and J. Michael Sturvient, and they have two 5 stars who may contribute, and Vernell Brown and Dallas Wilson. And on they also returned 4 offensive line starters. They re and yeah. So for them, it's essentially if their offense clicks, especially with the quarterback, and he's one of the better quarterbacks in the conference, that alone makes them a dark horse because
Hmm.
they play LSU, they play Texas, they play Texas A&M, they play Georgia, and oh my God,
They play everybody.
are we sure Oklahoma has the hardest schedule? But the thing is, and also for me, the way I sort of view Dark Horse as well is like it's even if you don't make it, you could ruin someone's
Someone else's season.
right.
Yeah.
Like if they
Yeah.
beat LSU in week 3. LSU doesn't have as much air, right? If they beat Texas, like if they beat, like, you know what I mean? If they beat Georgia, right? So it's sort of, it's
Yeah.
that sort of thing why I think of them. Oklahoma is just, it's the offense. We just talked about it. One quarterback
Yeah.
had 5,900 yards and 62 touchdowns. The other quarterback had 3,700 yards and 25 touchdowns. And the third quarterback, who's going to be the one playing this year, had 3,100 yards, 29 touchdowns, 826 rushing yards, and 15 touchdowns. If the offense works, they're a dark horse,
They're scary. Yeah.
especially because their head coach is a defensive guy. And while it hasn't always clicked, you do expect eventually for it to click. This is his third year. This is fourth year with them. And they returned four of their five defensive tackles. They brought in Marvin Jones, who's one of the best edges in the country. So for them, it's like you hope that they have a good defense because that's what their coach does. If the offense, which has been electric everywhere, doesn't mean it's going to work in the SEC, but if the offense, which has been electric everywhere, works, you also bring in Jaden Ott. That makes them a dark horse. Whether you believe it or not, that's what dark horse means. They also have a chance to sort of upset some people, which is, again, how I sort of view it. Um, they play Texas, they play Alabama, they play LSU. Like, I'll just put it this way: if Alabama and or LSU doesn't make the playoffs, it's going to be because of Oklahoma or Florida. Like
Okay.
that's like one of them is like they're going to lose a game that they shouldn't, and so that's sort of why I put them on there. Texas A&M, I don't know. I don't know that I should have put Texas A&M on here.
And
Um, the thing with Texas A&M, I'll tell you why I put them on there. They return all five of their offensive line, plus two co-starters who like played because of injury. So they essentially returned seven offensive linemen, and I really like their running back, Le'Veon Moss, which is a name. Like, talk about it. Like that
Le'Veon
is
Moss, that is the name of somebody who was going to play sports professionally. Like you weren't going to do nothing else or
like come on.
at a
And he's
high
a
level.
running back, so even if he's
Le'Veon
not,
Bell,
you name it
Le'Veon,
after
yeah.
Le'Veon Bell, and then
Even though Le'Veon Bell
Moss.
is a
You throw the
very goofy man.
Yeah, you throw the Randy Moss, and it just like he's very
Yeah.
good. He got injured, but he was on pace for 1,000 yard season. He's really good. Like I'm a big fan of him. They brought in two top 13 wide receivers, and I don't remember if I like their quarterback Marcel Reed. He was a young guy who came in, but he's another guy that people believe have a lot of promise. And then on defense, similar to Oklahoma, their head coach is a defensive guy, and I'll just read this. When he was a coordinator at A&M at first. He went from 28th to 18th, 12th, and 7th. And then at Notre Dame, he took them from 28 to 11. And then at Duke, he took them from 68 to 28. So this is his second year. If you get the defense that you expect from Mike Elko, and then the offense works out, they return some linebackers. Um, they return 8 starters on defense. Like, I think they're number one in the SEC and
Like returning.
returning. They return their entire secondary. That's why I put them there. Do I think they're gonna win it? No, but like we're talking dark horses, so that's how we got there.
Well, shout out to the Dark Horses.
Critical matchups, and we just named some of these.
Yeah. Texas and Georgia, obviously. What would that be? A rematch of something?
They played twice last year, but it's also
Okay.
the rematch of the SEC championship game.
There we go. Rematch of the SEC championship. I was like, they did something important.
Yep,
Girl, listen. Bama and Georgia, I mean, that's just always a big one in the SEC, no matter what. It
yep.
kind of doesn't matter how well they're both doing. Um,
Especially last year, if you remember, Bama started out 28-0. Georgia came all the way back, and then Ryan Williams introduced himself by making a crazy circus catch, and Bama ended up winning the game.
crazy, crazy times. Bama and LSU, same thing. Both of them sort of being in the same position for contending, so they could be knocking each other off. LSU and Florida, same thing. LSU and Texas A&M, same thing. Texas and
Yeah,
OU,
these ones are on here because these are games that LSU likes to lose, and
yes,
if they lose, we're gonna point
they're
to
out of
these
there.
games as to why Brian Kelly got fired.
Yep. Texas OU, Red River Showdown, obviously very, very big deal, especially if you are in the Texas or Oklahoma state area. I'm gonna try to get my ass there this year. It was too much going on last year. I couldn't make it, but I'm trying to get myself over there this year because it is just a good old time, and it's even more fun because both teams are in the SEC now. Um, And then Texas and Texas A&M, same thing as a native Texan. This is a matchup that we have been very much wanting to happen more consistently. Last year when they played, it was the first time they played each other in 10 years. So we've been starving, but also at the same time, Texas A&M being that dark horse sort of vibe as well. But I mean, it's a big deal culturally. So, yeah. Now, playoff participants, which is a
Yeah.
new thing that we have added because there's 11 people that get in the playoffs now. Um,
I'm back and forth on mine
I'm changing
because
my mind too.
I'm back and forth on mine because I'm trying to figure out if I think one of these teams gets in over the ACC team. But what I'm doing is I've already said it. I gave the sneak preview. I think Bama and Georgia flip, and that Georgia ends up with 3 losses because the quarterback doesn't hit and they miss it. If all of these teams are 10-2, then that ACC team is not getting in. But especially with we saw it last year, and I don't believe that last year was a fluke, and that there's going to be some surprising losses that you don't expect, and that these teams are more even, and that there's going to be this sort of glut of 9-3 teams again,
Mhm.
especially because they don't play that ninth conference game. So you miss another sort of loss that kind of separates the middle. So I
That
have
determines it.
three.
Yeah.
I have Texas, Bama, LSU. I think Georgia's going to be a good team, but if you remember last year, Georgia almost lost multiple games. They should have lost to Georgia Tech. I don't think the quarterback is better, and I know that they're going to keep building, and they always do. But they did lose a lot of people on defense. I'm not sure that they're going to have to. It's just I with their schedule and some of the things going on there, but largely focused on the quarterback, I think that they could lose 3 games. Just to go through their schedule very quickly, they play at Tennessee, who they should beat, but it's the SEC. Vanderbilt beat some teams. They play Alabama and Texas. I believe in those 2 teams, so that's 2 losses there. Then they also play Ole Miss, Florida, and Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech almost beat them last year. If you don't have, this is the last game of the season, so maybe he's sort of in it at this point, but if you have a young quarterback and you can ball control them, that's a way for Georgia Tech to win that game. Georgia Tech's not going to be a better team, but if maybe they do what they did last year, and with a more inexperienced quarterback, they lose. If Florida's offense is humming, like I just think that there's a chance that maybe they if they lose the 2 games you sort of expect, Alabama and Texas, I just think that there's a chance that they do what Alabama did and they lose to a team that they shouldn't have lost because their quarterback is not good, which Alabama's quarterbacks last year was not good. So 3. Texas, Bama, LSU, and this is gonna get clipped and people are gonna make fun of me and whatever. Get muted. You're muted.
You're right. I am. Hate that for me. Okay, I said I agree. Texas, Bama, LSU. But and maybe I'm just a little high on Georgia. I don't know, but I'm just like I also feel like Georgia might sneak their way in as well. Um,
Yeah. I mean, if we're being honest, it's more likely that Georgia gets in and one of LSU or Bama
one of
doesn't
Bama
get in.
or LSU
But
doesn't.
I
Yeah,
didn't want to just do the typical.
yeah. That's why I'm saying all four because I'm like, if they all end up 10-2,
Yeah.
then we're having a different conversation. And I think all of them are capable with their schedules to get to 10-2, which is why I'm like, okay, we might end up having four come out of SEC. Texas, obviously, because we both had already said we believe Texas is going to win the conference. They're going to get that guaranteed bid. Then, because there's so many strength of schedule conversations that happen. And there's always this perception that the SEC schedule is just so much harder than any other schedule that I feel like yeah, an ACC team might get knocked out because of that. If I had to take an ACC team out in order to make this happen, if that makes sense. Like there may be too much. There may be the whole strength of schedule thing, and if they're all 10-2, then
Yeah, I'm doing this because
see what I'm
I'm
saying?
projecting that one of them gets 3 losses.
Goes 9-3. Yeah,
Yeah. If they're all 10-2, they're all getting in. Like that's not a question.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
Georgia, Texas is going to be 12-0, 11-1. But if they're all,
yeah.
if yeah, yeah, the one thing I will say, because LSU plays Clemson, they have less room for error, but LSU has a super easy schedule. They play Louisiana Tech, Florida, East Louisiana, Ole
Lord,
Miss,
LSU
South
loves the easy
Carolina,
schedule.
Vanderbilt. Texas A&M, Bama, Arkansas, Western Kentucky, Oklahoma. Again,
I'm saying.
and here's the thing, I don't want people to get mixed up with the easy thing because I understand that I do think that the SEC as a whole is a hard schedule, right? I do get that. What I mean by easy is to their level. The only team that they play in the SEC that should beat them or is Bama, and they could beat Bama. Like them and Bama, I kind of see equal this year. Everyone else that they play in the SEC is under them. Where again, Georgia plays Texas and Bama, right? Like you know what I mean? Like so, they only play one of the top teams, and it's a team that they could beat. Like they're not even getting Texas, so
Yeah.
LSU should only have at max one loss in the SEC. And if they have one loss in the SEC, even if they lose to Clemson, they're in the SEC championship game and
Texas.
they're 10-2 worse.
And
So,
they're an at-large bid because they were in the championship game. Because I feel like a lot of that is going to be going on, of like not as a guarantee, but like a lot of a high chance that if you made it to the championship game in the conference, you're going to get an at-large bid probably for the playoffs too.
yeah.
So
Yep.
unless there's a whole conversation that we were having last week where like if you lost to them like more than once and all of that. But anyway, um, yeah, those are the vibes. We think the conference winners are obviously Texas. We just said that multiple times. Um, I would be genuinely shocked if it wasn't, honestly. I'd be like on the floor,
Truly.
like this can't be real. But yeah, so I have nothing else to say about the SEC. I'm bored with them. I will continue to be bored with them. Maybe they'll entertain me later.
Yeah. Well, to wrap up the show, as we always do, we wrap up the show with the last 2 minute report. Mine is going to be very quick. Trinity Rodman is one of the best soccer players in the world. Trinity Rodman has been injured with a back for months. She's barely played this season. She played for the first time yesterday, and she made the game winner.
Period. As she should.
Love that for
Trinity
her.
Rodman is a soccer player, by the way, if you guys are unaware.
I said that. I said she's one of the best soccer players in the
Oh, I
world.
didn't hear you. Sorry.
Yeah,
And if you
she
also
plays.
aren't aware, the soccer player with the pink hair,
Yes.
not the white one, the black one, the pink braids.
Yes. Love that for her. It was definitely, she's at a point like you don't want anyone to be out with the injury, especially a back. But she came back and she got a goal in her first game, which is always big. But it was a game winner, which is even bigger, of
That's even
course.
better.
So
I love that for her. I hope that Angel Reese comes back and does the same because she also has a back injury, and it has been so hard to watch Chicago play basketball for the past couple weeks. Speaking of basketball, the Wings decided this morning that they were going to trade my first love, the woman who I would do anything for, Dejanay Carrington, to the Minnesota Lynx. And I just don't understand why you would play into levels of gluttony that are only described in the Bible. The Minnesota Lynx is already the best defensive team in the WNBA, and y'all just handed them an elite all WNBA defender, the reigning most improved player of the year. If we're tanking, just say that. Because, like, what? Four, and I'm not, this is no shade to Diamond Miller. Diamond Miller is really, really good. The problem with Diamond Miller is she can't stay healthy long enough for us to see how good she actually is. But we got Diamond Miller, we got injured ass Carly Samuelson. Again, no shade to Carly Samuelson, but she does have a long-term injury. So why would we trade away somebody who's actually productive for somebody with a long-term injury that does not make any sense? And then a 2027 second round pick. A lot of people are clocking that obviously Kurt Miller, who is the GM of the Dallas Wings, is clearly preparing to try to build some sort of team around Paige, mostly through the draft,
yeah,
which is fine. That's fine. But one thing I will say is Letitia Tremmel got fired for having a similar record to what the Dallas Wings has right now. So does that mean Chris Koklanis is also going to get fired? Because we're used to winning at Dallas.
yeah,
We are used to winning. We are accustomed to winning. Now we have Arika Gumbawale and Paige Beckers. We need a couple bigs just to get it going. We're accustomed to winning. Oh, we also waived Tiara McCowan in order to make this deal happen. And Tiara McCowan was probably having one of her better seasons, even though she's not the best big, but she was having a good season. So I am distraught. I'm distraught. Kurt Miller is breaking up families. First Alyssa, now Dejanay.
crazy.
It's just crazy. And mind you, I'm pretty sure he brought one of them. I can't remember. I want to say it was announced first that Dejanay was on the Wings and then they got Alyssa. I can't remember what order it was. But like they were very heavily like helpful in recruiting them both down to Dallas. So then to trade them both away mid-season like this is just
Crazy.
Crazy. And mind you, the Minnesota Lynx don't need no more weapons. So if you thought that the Minnesota Lynx weren't winning the championship prior, you should not be thinking that anymore. Congratulations, we just handed the Minnesota Lynx a win.
Hmm.
Excuse me.
Yeah. Well,
Hate it here.
that's the show. As always, thank you for listening. We'll be back next week with the Big Ten. Please, if you like the show, share with the family, post it on Instagram, follow us on IG and YouTube at Get Defensive Sports Network, follow us on TikTok at GD Sports Network, subscribe on your favorite podcast platform, and get the show out there. And that's all. We'll catch you next
Thank
week.
you so much.